What is going on, YouTube? So, I went 5-0 at my locals this weekend with Green Hybrid. And if you listen to the podcast we did a few days back, I was talking about this week I'm going to test Green really heavily. We ended up having a 26-man locals. And yeah, I went 5-0, I was only undefeated. I was only 4-0, but the guy wanted a guaranteed 5 rounds. And I ended up playing this list with a side deck and mulligan. So we played modified rules, which was pretty hype. I actually enjoy both a lot, and I hope all locals just start doing it so people can test for DigiFest better. But yeah, I've been working on this list for quite some time. I originally built it off the idea of Max Tapera. It was like the first video he put out when he started toying around with Green Hybrid, and this is just kind of like the version that came out of all my testing back and forth. So if you're just here for a screenshot for the deck list, awesome. Here you are. Please edit my ugly face out, and hopefully you'll just enjoy this and then move on. But if you could leave a like or a comment, so that way we can proc the algorithm. I help you out, you help me out. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, if you're here for actual discussion and content about the cards, I'm more than happy to get into it. So before this set, I knew next to nothing about Green other than it sucked, and Max Tapera did well with it. So that's kudos to him. And I saw Tyler do his Green OTK, but most of the time I was reading all these cards except for Nidhogg. I knew what Nidhogg did because Nidhogg will body you, right? And I'm not trying to let that happen. So for the babies, I start with 4 Pinamon. Typical stuff. It just draws well if you're swinging on a suspended Digi, which you make a lot in this list. And then extra Koromon, where if you swing on a suspended Digi, you can scry the top of your deck and put it on the bottom or the top. I maybe used that once the entire tournament. It wasn't really relevant. However, the extra 5th egg was, mainly because we're playing the Memory Tamer and Mimi, which we'll probably just get into later on. Following up that, there's 2 Agumon. You get extra 1k during your turn. 4 Terriermon, which were absolutely broken in my matchups, and it's very obvious if you're playing Green, you should just run 4 of these because it's phenomenal. It's so cute too. Adorable card to play. 4 Palmon, where if you're swinging on a suspended Digimon during your turn, you get plus 2k. It was very, very relevant in the blue hybrid matchup, which I saw a lot of, and I think it's probably going to be the most played deck at all DigiFest coming up. So nothing too surprising there. 4 Boko. Consistency. It's the only thing in the deck that grabs Ancient Beetlemon and is very, very necessary towards this deck's success. I would never play less than 4. It's absolutely needed. Max played 3 of the Petal in his build, and I went down to 2 because I was being greedy because I wanted to play Susano, and I honestly couldn't tell the difference. When I was trying out the deck at first, I was playing Arbormon, and the difference between having a 5k hybrid and a 7k hybrid was more impactful than the extra 1 that Petal costed in order to play out. Mainly because when Ancient Beetle dies or got deleted, I always just wanted to play Petal. I always wanted to play that because Beetlemon has a great on play, and so does Metal Kabuterimon or on Digivolve, and that wasn't something I was getting out of Petal. So I'm more than happy to just send out Petal after Ancient Beetle goes. More than likely, if they deleted my Ancient Beetle, they were like, oh, I'm going to follow up by handling your hybrid that comes out with X card. In blue, they threw it back with their level 5 Leo dude, or maybe got deleted by purple. I don't know. It just felt like it got handled a lot, and the drop in was just best used with Petal. Next up is Beetlemon, which is man, if you're trying to play Green Hybrid, this card's crazy. This card's Heracross incarnate, man. This card's good. So obviously play 4 of them, and if you're new to Green and you learn stylish stuff about it, it can get its effect when digivolving over your stack. So if you have a Rookie and Raising and you bring it out and digivolve it into Beetle for 2, you still get the ability. And the ability to search for JP, which is the main homie, and you always need the homie in play, or to grab your Rhino was very, very clutch. I think this card's absolutely insane. I really like it. It probably makes the deck. Without this, the deck is absolute trash, without a doubt, right? But it's here, so speculation. Next up is 4 Metal Kabuterimon. If Beetle had a best friend and they were like always like 2v1ing people, it'd be Metal Kabuterimon. And I will say I made the play of Digivolving over my Beetle maybe once or twice per match. Like, jeez, that play is super, super solid, and it makes for some really awkward choking scenarios. And obviously you play 4. Next is Rhino. You know, what can I say about this card? He's broken. He's just absurd. I've noticed myself not Digivolving into Ancient Beetle, even though I had the play available to me multiple times, just because I always thought that swinging into most of the hybrid decks in this format, 8 is gonna live. Like, he's just a tank. He's huge. And then, you know, there's a couple times when I've made my stack, went into Beetle, and then just went into a Rhino to pass them over at 1 if they didn't hit a Memory Tamer yet, which, you know, you can do in the first, like, 2 to 3 turns. Then allowing it to turn into Ancient Beetle when I wanted to. Then, you know, it was supreme, right? This card's broken. Always play 4. Super, super good. You'll notice that I'm not playing an extra level 5, and that was, again, me being greedy and wanting to change things up. I went 5-0, but, like, results only speak for so much, and, like, gameplay scenarios that came up. I kind of want another level 5 in here. I want to Argo, or I want to Blossom. I don't know what to cut for it, and, you know, debating it, it's probably going to have to be one of the rookies or the extra Izzy and Mimi. But, yeah, in general, I want another level 5. And you might be able to see that by noticing the list. I know Max has played the 2 Ancient Evolutions, like the Susano crack card. And that's probably why he went less on 5s. And, yeah, I didn't like that combo at all. I thought it was very mediocre. I thought I put my level 6 in play like way too quickly and kind of put it in danger, even though it's 13. But like they can start freezing on it. They can do silly stuff, and it's not something I want to see too often. I main deck 2 Argomon, and the reason I did this is because my fellow Someone's PC podcaster, as well as a close friend of mine, Tyler, always plays purple yellow Cherubi, and all the blue hybrid in the room. I was like, all right, you know what? This is a card I see myself side decking in almost every single round, so I'm just going to go ahead and main deck this. I wasn't finding any success with Ancient Troy. I thought it was very mediocre. I thought great players can just play around it like for days. Just Dougie on that boy. Because like they're just going to swing with whatever's active, and then you're going to like turn their rookie that they brought up at a range, and then they're going to hybrid you for game. And there's nothing you could do about it. You're playing green. You have no defense. Like your deck ramps and it punches, and then that's it. You're getting punched. You give them the Rocky. Like you're getting the hands, but like, you know, you're dishing out hands too. So yeah, Argo all the way. Ancient Troy got side decked. I sided Argo out for Ancient Troy when I played against Loop, and that was it. And I can't think another time. Argo was clutch. Argo removed lethal and then presented lethal back to people. And then through Digisorption, I was choking them over at like 1 or getting like crazy high value just from putting it out. Because I was like, you have a Memory Tamer, but I really don't feel like giving you 4. Because that extra 1 you can run a mile with all the hybrids in this format and Hammer Spark and whatever else. Next, 4 Ancient Beetle. I learned during testing to actually read cards. And I know it takes a while, but it says like it gets its trash effect if any hybrid or 10 warriors you control defeats something by battle and survives. So I was doing these super cute plays where I'd be like, I'll HPV my guy on the side, like the beetle, into like or like a rhino I made in the previous stack into Ancient Beetle, and then I had like a second stack of a rhino and I swing over it with it and then made a new Ancient, and I get like a double trash Pierce play with double Ancient on board. And that was super sweet. And the fact that that's available to you is like, how do I say? It's just it's a reason to play HPV and a reason why or HPD. Jeez, Russ, silliness. And it's a reason why I will never play this deck without that available to me. I added in one Susano because the more I played against yellow purple, the more we grinded out games and the more I was like, I'm going to lose because I'm going to run out of resources. Rhinos, beetles, any of the hybrids and tamers. And I wanted that to stop. I've also learned that with HPD, you've had like insane scenarios presented to you early if you quote unquote luck sack into drawing your full stack line into Susano, into HPD coming out of a security. And so like, yeah, it's too strong not to play. It's not necessary. However, what it does is like it gives you a new resource for you to go faster than the normal turbos go. And most people that play against your deck, they will drop a 7 on you. They'll go line up into a bond, or they'll make a big guy and they'll think, oh, all you can ever do is crash against me, and I don't see your stack with a Palmon in it coming out of raising. And so my card's super duper safe. And with Susano, you're like, nah, you're not really safe. I also made a play where I just paid 5 because I had Boko on board into a Susano over a JP, and I popped his board presence, and he had the rookie out. And so he needed to like clear out the rookies on board because Susano had piercing. So it was just like super scary scenarios that's presented themselves, and I can't see myself not playing Susano in this deck no matter what. HPD's broken. There's a reason why it's at 1. Go from there. 4 Thunder Laser. So this is the biggest thing I see people doing in mono green. They're playing 3 or 2 Thunder Laser, and I don't know how they managed to pull off the combos that this deck needs to pull off to keep up with the current format. And at least once per match, my opponent openly put out a level 5 in a vulnerable situation to try and choke me out at like 2, and I responded with immediate like Thunder Laser into Rhino, swing into Ancient, and they just lost the game from it. Like that turn was a game deciding turn, and I only had 1 Thunder Laser in my hand. And there's so many games that I run into where I'm digging for a Thunder Laser off my evolution. Like I go into Beetle, I have Rhino and Ancient, and I have no way to tap my guy. And Beetle can't even grab me Thunder Laser, but on the stack lineup, I was like, I got 2 more cards to go. Hopefully I draw a laser here, because if I do, he loses. And if I don't, I'm not turning his guy, and I'm swinging for security check with Ancient Beetle, and I just never want that to happen. And I want 4 Thunder Laser at all times, and I want 1 in my hand at every moment. And to support like what this deck can do well, which is punishing early aggression from rookies level 4s and level 5s against you when they whiff hitting a Digimon in your security. And I don't think I've ever felt that kind of like power before, because I'm a yellow player and I'm a degen and all I do is heal. But geez, like when they swing at me and they hit if they hit a JP or they hit a Thunder Laser and they survive with like, Madoki, Gazi, Siako, whatever rookies currently like super good in the format, even Jet Sylphie, whatever. And they see like, Laser get out of my hand or like JP come to the bench, they know that card right there is going to cost them 2 security, because you get the Piercer and you get the check, and then nothing in this format's killing Ancient Beetle in security outside of what? Susano. So like, if you hit, you hit. Good for you. Like you hit a Susano in your security, so now I don't have to worry about it all game. But playing 4 laser, the HPD, as well as this absurd Tamer count, kind of supports what the deck wants you to do, which is punish aggression with a +1 on top of it, which is a trash and a piercing. And I really, really enjoy that about this list and about the deck in general. I don't believe that's what Christmas gives you. I think what Christmas does is like, it just makes all your guys swing for a lot, and you have the option of JP piercing over like one of their aggressive plays, but you play so many more rookies and so many more reckless cards that I don't feel the same consistency when I look and play against Christmas as I do with this list. So, enough about Laser. It's a good card. Feel free to cut it down to 3 if you don't want to greed it like I did and side deck the 4th. But I can't see a scenario when you're in a game and you're like, oh, it's 4th laser time. It's time for the 4th laser to come in. What am I taking out? Because like, what are you putting in that's gonna be more valuable to you than 4th laser? Like than the consistency of your combo and hitting your turbo. I can't see it. And yeah. I don't know. 4 lasers strong. 4 lasers super good. I don't know. 2 Mimi, 2 Ken. So hilariously, I wanted 4 Ken because that's what Max did. I'm gonna copy you just to see how everything's playing out. I couldn't find 4 Ken, so then I went with 2 Mimi and 2 Ken. Mimi has put in more work than Ken could ever do. She's presented lethal a reckless amount of times. And then she's also like clutched out so many times against Blue Hybrid when I'm trying to end the game and I don't have Terrier out yet left, and I don't have the memory to afford to play down a Terrier as well as still go for lethal. And so I just like Digivolve into Terrier and Raising, go into my Rhino, Mimi out, put up my Terrier, and swing Rhino no ability. Like, don't use ability to go into Ancient and swing out from there. And Terrier will clutch. He just, hit over a Hammer Spark, hit over an Ice Wall, just didn't really care because Terrier's a pretty broken card. And yeah, I think this is the way to go now. Ken gets you the memory plus. It makes for some very cute plays. But I found myself in scenarios when Ken was relevant, my opponent already found time to get their memory tamer into play. And the extra 1 memory I got didn't make a difference to the current board state. And I can't think of scenarios where it would, as the extra 1 memory is like, oh, I can go over my JP, like another JP I just happen to have on board because I'm just, I'm god drawn at this point. If I got multiple JPs plus a memory tamer, plus another full stack, like I'm killing it, right? And the extra memory would have to be like Thunder Laser usage. However, if they're swinging at you because you're already swinging over suspended to get the value out of Ken, you already had the 1. Like, you don't need the 1. It's not really chilling there. So I know I'm sus on Ken. Yeah, 2-2 split's just good. Mimi's done too much work, and Ken has done this like I can go Beetle into Metal Kabuteri, turn their guy, swing over it, and then Ken, and give me the memory back I paid for Metal Kabuteri. But the odds of me having that plus another line to go into Rhino and the memory to go into the Ancient Beetle, it's so far and few between that I can't really justify playing maxed out Ken as opposed to I can't to Mimi. Another discussion is I like playing 4 memory tamers in this format. I can never see myself not playing 4 memory tamers. Maybe only 3 TK in yellow because I don't want to like lose because I have to grab a purple card or like a Boko or something like that. But this deck I think absolutely needs 4 memory tamers. And that brings us to the next part, which is Izzy and Mimi and the gotcha roll and the Luxaki stuff you can do with this level 6. I hit it once, and I hit an Ancient Beetle with it, and I felt really proud of myself because I was like, hey, look, you're getting lucky. It was in a game where I was already stomping and it didn't really matter. But other than that, it's the biggest bait. It's the biggest bait for like the concept we talked about earlier, which is our opponent swings in with rookies and level 4s, and they hope that they get killed off security, and they just hit it Izzy and Mimi, and it's your TK and Kari of the format if you want to like visualize it like yellow. So I like having it in here. It put in work. It supports the concept of playing Susano, so I have enough memory to make a line, HPD, make the Susano, go from there. So yeah, it's pretty wild, but I would definitely keep at least 1 Izzy Mimi. I think that's like the 1 card you can cut. Last up is 4 JP. There's no discussion there. JP's broken. Yeah, just absurd card. The piercing, the extra memory gain. People are going to start maining Syakumon and their blue hybrids, probably like at 2 or 3. If not, they're going to side them in. You just kind of answer with your Metal Kabuterimons. I found that the most skillful decision making you have in the deck is what to pull off Beetle and when. And you'll get punished for it multiple times. So you probably need a lot of reps with this deck to kind of find success in good matchups. Because you'll Beetle and you're like, oh, JP, obvious grab. And then Rhino, obvious grab because I want my next line. And if you get a scenario where like your opponent doesn't even present the ability to go like Rhino into Ancient for full value for, like maybe they have the big card out. Or maybe they keep swinging you with everything. So you're sitting there trying to threaten lethal back with like your 4 hybrids. I found myself going like Beetle. I already have a Rhino in hand and there's a Metal Kabuterimon there. And I'm just going to grab another Beetle. because I don't see him playing out a control rookie or a Boko soon that I'll need to metal over. And then in matchups like Blue Hybrid, it came down to like, oh, I just need to grab every metal Kabuterimon I ever see. And just try and turn every single rookie that we have there. But yeah. If you don't have a Susanoo, because you're trying to play a budget deck, and this deck costs like what, $3 outside of Susanoo, maybe $4 if we're trying to get all inflation and 7.6%. Level 5, yeah. Throw in a level 5 that I graded, and then go from there. I'd still play HPD. There's too many times when I've like gone into Rhino. Mimi brought up the rookie, and then I tapped the rookie down for HPD, and then go into Ancient Beetle that way. Swung out, and then dropped another Tamer for turn. You might think, well, why are you even doing that? You can just pay for the Rhino, and it's honestly because this is like a turbo rushing deck, and I would make that play to get the extra draw off my Ancient now, get the trash now, and then I get to throw down a Tamer to threaten lethal the following turn. So that 3 memory that I was going to pay for Rhino, I'm just going to pay for it for JP instead. And now they're staring down, like the barrel of a 45. Because you got to deal with Ancient. I have a rookie up that's tapped. And if you want to come swing at the rookie, which is, Terrier, whatever I brought up with the Mimi, then Ancient's down to feast on whatever swung over it. So you have to deal with some kind of problem somewhere. And instead, Blue will be like, we're going to try and go, like, pierce over this, or, like, try and freeze this guy this way, and it usually doesn't work out for them. Yeah. So, to go over my matchups, which I'm surprised I haven't even done yet. Round 1, I played against one of the homies here. He's kind of like a purple player, usually plays purple, and he was playing Lilith Loop, and it was, like, Swift 2-0, maybe turn 3, turn 4 both games. And I just think this deck outrushes purple too much. And the scenario happened twice, back-to-back games. When he swung in with the Eismon, it hit a JP, and he was like, oh, well, that's not good. And then he played down the 2-drop little rookie to try and choke a little cute purple thing. I forgot what the card's name is. But basically the next turn I just sent JP right into a Metal Kabuteri, tapped his guy down, brought up my rookie, and then went over my rookie with like... I forgot it was. My rookie might have just traded with their little guy, but then I pierced over, punished the Eismon, and then dropped out like a Memory Tamer into play, and just kept getting more and more value. But that play came where they're trying to swing, they're trying to make sure they lose the guy, and instead I just get to pierce over it, and it's a loop, so there's not many big things. So my Metal Kabuteri is super safe when swinging into it, but yeah. Swift 2-0, I think this deck has a big advantage against purple. It's way too fast. Purple needs to hit guys in your security in order to get value out of themselves during their own turn, and swinging over them as well as like choke them out of memory is just it's very, very easy to do, especially since they don't play that many Tamers. But yeah. Next round was against a Blue Hybrid homie we have here. Another 2-0. Most of the Blue Hybrids here are playing Bond, and I think Bond was the only quote-unquote scary situation to play against. And what I ended up doing is like sitting on a rookie and raising, go Memory Tamer. If they don't have a mat out, I put absurd amount of aggression on them, and as soon as they get a mat out, I try to like rush down what they have in play to make them bring up Gabu now and make them answer me with a Bond. And I never bring them under 2-2 security, because I don't want them to feel like they can make their Bond play and keep their Bond on board. I always keep them to like at least 3. And at 3, it's a good state against Blue where you could present lethal with multiple Tamers in play, and JP's broken, right? Because so he gets to cheat the game where he only costs 1 to go into your Beetle, and you always feel like when you're theorizing playing Green Hybrid that you want to go right up into your Mega and go right into your Ancient Beetle, but that usually is not the case most of the time. You kind of just like poke over them and then threaten lethal with so many attackers, and the Ancient Beetle's just like a cherry on top. And yeah, that was it was a Swift 2-0. He wasn't familiar with the Green Hybrid matchup. I don't think many of my opponents were. So yeah, it's quite a fun time. Next round, what am I? 2-0 at this point. I play against Kevin Roca, he is playing the whale deck, where it's like you throw out a whale, and then you play that Kaiser Nail-ish card where they get to like play other stuff from underneath it. I don't know. It was funny. Game 1, I super rolled him. The deck did what it needed to do. I hit my 4, 5, and 6. He barely hits anything and loses. Game 2, he keeps a stack and raising all the way to a 6. Draws his 1 of Bond, plays Bond out, and kicks me in the face with it the entire game. Game was like 4 turns. Where he just brought up Bond, swung. I didn't see Susano, and I lost the game. It was just that serious. I never saw Palma, never saw Susano. The game's over. Bond is insane. And we go into game 3. Nothing happens on his side of the board. He basically makes his level 6 Hexablow. I run it over the Ancient Beetle, and we move on to the next game because, you get to rush down something that's slow. So, yeah. Next round after that, I play against probably the best blue hybrid player in our area. His name's Nate, and he's a homie. And at this point, me and him are the only 3-0s besides our friend Berto, who's playing this exact 50 of green hybrid. And he's playing against another blue hybrid player. So Nate's playing blonde blue hybrid. It goes similar to how it did in round 2, which is I rushed to get a memory tamer into play. He's playing Bond alongside everything else. So I think game 1 he struggled to get a mat out, and I just ran him over. Game 2, I think he opens the mat plus a Gabu, and we have a really close grindy game, but he couldn't get a freeze out on a turn where he absolutely needed to freeze one of my beetles that I had in play. And I think the reason that this matchup feels good is because of the 4 Thunder Laser as well as the 4 Memory Tamer that I'm playing in comparison to normal green hybrid decks. Because the moment they try to play around Tommy and a Joe and Sora instead of their Davis out, then you kind of just take over the game and choke them. And I can do that without having Ancient Beetle out because Rhino's a tank and he can just kind of swing over their entire deck, minus Bond, obviously. I found that to be super, super valuable. There's some scenarios I just kind of like played into my Ancient Beetle because I didn't find Terrier yet, or they didn't find their Davis, and I'm trying to use Ancient Beetle to trash their stuff. So, you might be piling this deck and you'll be like, okay, I'm making a stack in my raising, and I don't really know where to go from here. And that can I can go into a Rhino for 3 because Rhino needs a Tamer underneath it to get the lower Digivolution cost. But at that point, you're like, man, is that worth it? Because the Ancient Beetle doesn't have piercing, right? And so it doesn't feel good if it doesn't have piercing. Man, that is such a good play sometimes. Depending on the board states and how bad you're chucking out your opponent. That Ancient Beetle without piercing, he just gets it done. He's just sitting there trashing stuff out of security all the time by running over anything they ever try to be aggressive with. And if they put board presence out, they don't get aggro because they see you have an Ancient Beetle and they see that you won't pierce, so they won't even get a Tamer in play to threaten lethal against you. They'll probably just play a Digi, pray you don't have a Thunder Laser. However, this list runs 4, and so 9 times out of 10 I had it and just went, okay, cool, turn your guy and swing. And they're like, yeah, and yeah. Don't be afraid to make that play. I think this is a very skillful deck with a low cap, a low ceiling, because it's very basic. It's just kind of Turbo-esque, but it's skillful in terms of the decision-making trees you get to make from your 4, 5, and 6, and if you want to go over your stack, or if you want to go over JP. The JP extra 1 memory that you get for Digivolving over it kind of confused me at first, and over time I learned that there are some scenarios where going over JP is just sick nasty, but then there's other times when I just kind of wanted to save him there for the end game lethal, and I should have gone over my Izzy and Mimi or my second memory tamer I had in play because I don't need piercing right now, nor do I need the 1 memory. What I need is just a board presence, a presence out. I don't need a piercing. I was going to Ancient Beetle. So yeah, if you're gonna play this list, definitely get some reps in with it. I think it's quite skillful in that regard. But like I said, the cap of it is just somewhat lower than the rest of the hybrid decks out there. Yellow, purple, yellow, Cherubi, or blue. We're not talking about red because come on, let's stop kidding around. We know what red is. We know what they're about. And they're not about thinking. They're about hitting some security for 19 checks, right? So, cuttable cards. Susano, absolutely. One of the Izzy memes. You can say you can cut a memory tamer. I wouldn't do it. I think this format is way too much hybrid. I think memory tamers are far too important, and I wouldn't want to mess up that count. So that's the list. Now we're gonna go into side deck cards. So, I obviously didn't side these cards. 17 cards here, right? I sided some like combination of dumb cards because all I ever really want to do was side an Ancient Troymon. I don't even have Nidhogg's because I'm a yellow player, and you know, it's green. I don't know that stuff, right? I'm working on a budget here, right? So, I sided a Blossom, 2 Ancient Troys, 2 of these Hercules Beetles, a Rosemon because it's super cute, and then I thought about it more and I was like, oh, that's actually like pretty useful. And then a bunch of random like green cards I would have never ever played just to make up my 10 because I thought it'd be funny. So going here, you can switch up the rookie line to play Digibursting and play the Digiburst eggs where when you Digibursted you get extra power for the turn, and then play Terriermon Assistant to get more consistency throughout your deck. You can choose to play Arbormon over the Petaldermon because you might want that extra like memory cost back that it costs for Petal. I don't agree with this at all. I think Petal's amazing. You need its 7k more than you need that one memory in most of the matchups in this meta. So I couldn't see me doing that. Argo, because you can only play once, so might as well play it. I greeted this. Sometimes I miss my level 5. I kind of outplayed to get out of it, or like threw out Tamers and then threatened lethal, and they didn't have lethal on their turn. Like I can't think of every scenario in my head, but there's definitely a time when I'm like, I just need a level 5 and I win this game. And taking out the memory tamer, or taking out the Susano, or taking out the extra Mimi and Izzy would be sufficient for that. Blossom, just another option for 5s. Whatever. I think Blossom might be better than Argo because 7k again is relevant swinging over stuff. Hard play for 7 I never did because I feel like if I did that I might as well just scoop my game up, Yeah. Nidhogg, because Nidhogg's broken, you should always punish your opponents for overextending. You can play to your stack very, very well. Beetle is a great card coming out of your raising. I can't say that enough. You should be making a play like that at some point during your matches, and it's hard to determine when to make that play and not go over one of your early JPs. And experience in the matchup, as well as the literal strength, the literal DP of your opponent's cards will play into like a role of how the matchup should be going, as the Beetle stack is going to be gaining off your Palmon and off your Agumon, and you're going to want to draw extra cards off of that if you play to that scenario. So if there's like, oh, I have my Ancient Beetle, but I don't have my Rhino yet, and I play my Beetle, and I still don't have my Rhino because I'm very unlucky, and that's just like Digimon, right? So, I've like Thunder Laser down their rookie with no piercing to swing at it to draw with my egg, and then try and get to my Rhino that way. And I've Thunder Lasered to like crash in my Agumon rookie to draw with my egg and like make plays that way. So a lot of intricate weird stuff is going to come up, and it's going to be really, really fun playing. I'm having a blast. Next up, Ancient Troy. I'm not feeling this card. I don't know if maybe my opponents are just good. Maybe I'm just playing it wrong. I don't understand how I can play it wrong by just like tapping down their stuff. But I feel like it's never closing games for me, nor is it helping. In the mirror match, I can see it stomp. I get the mirror match. Super, super get that. However, if you're playing this list and you make Ancient Beetle in your stack and then you swing on the Ancient Troymon that way, that's just mad funny because you have like, if you have Palmon in your stack, you go to 15, you just run over the Ancient Troy. Super, super hilarious. Then you make your own Ancient Troy afterwards. Hercules I considered putting in. The restand seems super, super cute. Piercing, going over the JP and going up the line that way. Paying the 3 to go into it for your Rhino sounds super nice, but yeah. It's there. Rosemon's nice control. There's a couple times when like my opponent presented lethal to me, and if I had Rosemon, I just immediately presented lethal back and removed their lethal, which is super funny. But yeah, I found Argomon to do that more often for me in this format than Rosemon would. However, I get it. I get why playing Rosemon would work, and I wouldn't be mad at you if you played it, you know? Hercules Kabuterimon, Piercing, it supports the Digiburst idea we did earlier with Terrier. So, like, if you're going to go not the boost DP on swinging sideways route for rookies, but the Digiburst rookie route, then, you know, you can probably play that instead. More level 7s, just because it's the same thing. When Kevin kicked me in the face with that Bond play, it made me feel really awkward. Like I needed to add something to beat it outside of the one Susano or outside of trying to hit Palmon on my stack. So I can see myself playing Chaos. I'll just put it here just to like try and, you know, have you think more, because by no means is this list perfect or like, you know, even close to perfect. It's just good to have like stuff to brainstorm, even if it's my dumbass reminding you, like it's like, oh, this card exists. Yeah, look at that. All right, so Valor Arms is hot. Izzy, I played 2 of when I was initially testing the list because I took out some stuff from what Max was playing. It was cute to choke with, but like I needed to start the turn with 2 extra memory, and that's what Izzy Mimi gave me. And this one, Izzy, it's just like, it cancels out the laser. And you might be thinking, well, you're playing 4 lasers, so you might as well just play the Izzy so they just cancel each other out. But the way like the speed of blue hybrid matchup goes, as well as like just like reds and like, you know, how the format's going, I don't find time to do that. I don't find time to like put a 2-drop Izzy into play, because I'm already gonna pass them over in that like them. And you know, we ran with the concept where if they swing in our security and they whiff and they hit a Tamer, we punish them for it. But like, if you're swinging a security, whiff, hit an Izzy, I'm not really doing anything with that Izzy. You already have your tapped Digimon out. Like I'm probably going over Izzy and swinging with it. And at that point, it might as well just been an Izzy and Mimi and just give me 2 extra memory for the turn so I can throw down a JP and then party with the Izzy and Mimi that way. So, yeah. I get why to play it. I personally didn't like it. I don't see much value in it. Again, I'm driving home this like when they whiff out of your security, kick them in the face kind of play. So like, yeah, wild stuff. Yeah, there's not much else to go over. I like the deck. I think it's strong. I think a lot of people are underestimating it. I know it got finals at I think it was like the Texas Case tournament. It was a really, really big tournament. I saw a couple of people like talking about it. It was like 6-7 rounds Swiss into a top 8. So yeah, he got finals. Or I know the Mono Green at least got finals, but I didn't see how he did. Hopefully he won. Hopefully his list is like similar to this, but like if it's different, woo, like cool, good for that man. But or girl, we don't discriminate in this world. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you know, I wouldn't say learned something, but like enjoyed the list and like thought through with me. Even if you're a blue player, now you get to like analyze a little bit more what comes from my side, so that way you guys can adapt and like beat it. So everyone have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like it. Please watch Max Tapera's video. I'm going to link it in the description because it's the one I started with and where I got original ideas from. And yeah, we're going from there. Then have a great day and take it easy.